The electric fencing equipment that we've got these days is pretty awesome stuff. I think there's 9,000 volts on that wire. It's poly in front of them. There's aircraft cable on the sides here. A mixture of.
We run posts every 30 paces, wooden posts. We pound them in the ground. That runs the high tensile plain wire along. And then we use the portable poly wire as the shift fences.
We have long strips of swath grazing. They're basically half-mile long. It's only 9 or 10 rebars, so I can carry that in one hand. I don't need to have a quad or a sleigh or a pipe wrench or a hammer in one hand and 9 rebars in the other, and we go out together, and he usually packs the rebar and I take the hammer and pound as we go. And we use turbo wire because we found that any kind of tape or fatter wire gets too much snow or hoarfrost on it at times and it'll sag to the ground, so you want the most power on the thinnest wire possible.
We drill holes in the ground with an actual cordless drill to put up our electric fence so that we can pull them back out. They don't freeze into the ground and end up staying there.
When the ground gets really frozen, rather than drilling holes to put your poly posts in, it works just to put the posts into the flat side of the bale, and then it makes it really less labor as well when you go to move the fence.
We got tumble wheels, and we've had them for probably at least 20, 30 years, and I love them. They're great in the summer. They're a wheel that you pull the end and it just rolls the fence ahead. You walk with it and rolls the fence ahead. In the winter it has its challenges because in our country it'll chinook and then it'll freeze the wheels down, and then you have to break each wheel loose. One of the neighbors was saying something about what's the point, you still got to move. But the point is, before we had the wheels, we tried it with rebar posts, and to get that in frozen ground, that was like a all morning job. Whereas to walk along and break them free and roll it ahead is really quite easy.
The conductor's important on the fence, and so we've been using aircraft cable for years. You can pull it tight and it doesn't stretch, so if a cow leans into it a little bit, it'll get to her hide a little better than a poly wire. And winter conditions are the most challenging for an electric fence when you got soils that are frozen and a bit of insulation from snow probably, and long-haired cattle. They are all things that make it harder for an electric fence to work properly. But we almost never have anything across our wire.
I've tried sucker rod and different things, but one thing with the corn, you've got such a big, strong, sturdy stalk, it almost intrigued me. Why couldn't you use that? And I did find a way. I used a plastic PVC pipe, 2-inch pipe, with bracer legs on it, and take my jackknife and cut a corn stalk and put that over the stalk. And I've got an arm off that reaches out, you know, 1.5 feet, and then I can put my electric tape or electric wire in that arm. So technically I can go fence across 300 or 400 yards with a jackknife and some sticks under my arm.
You know, with those kind of tools, you can do things that, you know, you couldn't do 20 years ago.